Today's been a real emotional roller coaster, I'll tell you. We went from an immediate announcement that they were going to rush bill the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, and then, well, as of recently, I ended up shifting my web browser because the internet tracks you based on 5 key fundamentals: your mobile device, where you are, your IP, so your location on the internet. It tracks, what else does it track? It also tracks, it tracks a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, point is, it uses 5 basic footholders, and one of them is your social media, your profile, But the difference is that you have 2 profiles to me. In other words, in this kind of instance, if I didn't know this, it would be harder to explain. If I have 2 profiles, here's the one that I show you on YouTube. All my YouTube content that I've ever edited, put through, and all that I've got it custom curated so that I'll be likable, right? There's that. But then there's the profile they built of you with all the background data that you gave them, influencing your digital footprint. You can remove it, but it takes a lot of effort, and it's really complicated. I'm not even going to try to because I don't want to. But I guess my point is, you have 2. You have the one you can delete, which is this one, the one you put on YouTube, your content, and then that's the one you think you control, and then you have another one that's built behind your back by companies to benchmark basically how much you spend, where you spend it, why you spend it, this, that, the other thing. Like your credit card, they track that, so that's the reason I go with cash is king. They can't track cash unless they physically have it in hand. The other thing they track is your mobile devices or your access to the internet pathways now. And another thing they do is they like to track your web browser and which stuff you use on it. For example, most people use Google Chrome or Opera GX because it's the most 2 notorious ones that have a lot of problems with ad trackers and other things like that key into your digital foot marker. Anyway, I switched to DuckDuckGo to prevent some of that, and since then have also altered a protocol in my PC to prevent Windows from collecting data from my PC so long as I have that turned off and disabled. And I have that permanently disabled. I don't want them having my data. It's mine. And if anybody's going to make money off it, it's going to be me. That's what I think. Mark my fucking words. Where do I want to go? How about we go to the thing? Yeah, no, we don't want to go there. No. Let's go to Neptune. What's going on here? Oh, damn, there ain't nothing going on here. Nada. All right, well. What's going on in Europa? Almost nothing. Wow. There's got to be something going on. Oh, there's stuff on Savathûns, but it's only one thing. We'll go do it. Recently, a bunch of different web browsers have also kind of decided to say no to KOSA, as Mozilla Firefox, Brave browser, and a couple of others, including DuckDuckGo, have actively advocated for the people who want their privacy that this is a very deranged and sadist act to try to put across the people because, oh, well, protect the kids, so they say, but this would require that you would have to identify every human on the planet to prove their age bracket. Well, thank God that a bunch of browsers and web devs have decided to look at this bill and say, nope, we're not doing that. Go figure that out with someone else in some other country that doesn't agree with freedom of speech, which is great because having some web browsers on your side during the prospect of potentially inherent demise of the internet is great, So I don't think the internet's in too much of a threat anymore. Honestly, I think that was kind of a jump scare, to be fair. I mean, if they did in fact do that, That would make the spread of information very hard, wouldn't it? Thank God there is actually a God, and there are people with a moral compass who can then be ethical about the fact that that's an unethical bill and an unconstitutional bill, and thus some of these corporate entities in the internet, world, some of the net space people, the Mozilla Firefox and a bunch of others stood up and said no. So that's good. We won't have to worry about having our privacy completely taken away from us unless the entire world goes against the internet. And at this point, it's really only a small secularist divide of people. The numbers for political value over Trump and anything else like that have gone so far down that basically he'd have to pay out of pocket just to keep his viewing, to keep his following. On top of that, we've got to think that if the Privacy Act gets any worse in terms of predatory nature, it would have to be invoked by specific powers of government standing. So with corporate being a political mediator at the moment, I don't know, dude. I'm kind of worried, bro, because some of them want to try to take you and your ID and force you to identify that you are a human being of a certain age or whatever on the internet. When I don't know about you, but I like Neo, and we kind of both agree on the concept of no boundaries, no borders, no rules, no gods, no masters. And if I am to have a god, mine will not treat me like a slave, because my gods don't, and they never had. So I'm going to go on a will and say, with the current way things are happening with Firefox, Mozilla, and several other internet web browser developers, web developers having said, no, we're not signing COSA, we're on a good path here. We have a chance to win this. The internet is actively winning this fight, even though it's being 24 hours before it's over. We're already through the first 16 of them, right? So I've been actively building a repertoire of means to switch from I was using Opera GX because all my friends were using Opera GX, but I switched back to DuckDuckGo because I don't know, ever since I was a kid, DuckDuckGo has always bbeen that one where everybody says, oh, don't use that one, but it guarantees you the most amount of privacy, ad tracker removal, ad blocker removal, all kinds of stuff. And YouTube hates it, Google hates it. But the only reason they hate it is because they want autonomy. They want sovereignty and autonomy for YouTube and its corporate decisions over the people. And that's just not going very well for them today. So, do we have anything to shoot at? I'm kind of bored. No? Alright, new planet. Hey. New planet. We will go to, let's just do the blind well, considering that's kind of the thing that has the most popularity right now. We'll do that. Just because it's fun. It seems to me that the people had said they liked their privacy. And it also seems to me that when people said, we like our privacy, we want it our way, that companies signed up to advocate for us, which is a good thing. But at the same time, there are those companies that have all the money and all the quantum computing that the others don't, that makes all of these new rules and litigations from the UK a threat to the American people. I earlier called my mom and said, hey, what do you think about all this? What do you think's going on? She said, I think we should just keep an eye out on the internet today because it's likely it won't go through. I said, why do you think that? She said, well, because people do have a right to their privacy. However, she also thinks that social media needs to be reined in with what can be allowed on those platforms. I personally don't think that's a problem. See, when I was 10 years old and on the internet, I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear one. All I had was The Matrix to scare me, or The Terminator, and that wasn't fucking scary. That was ooh, I can make a friend with a bot that kills people? Ooh, let's do that. Oh, agents are after me? That's great. I have video game strategy and game sense. What are they going to do now? They operate on rules. I operate on pure irrational humanity. They're not going to beat me ever because that logic will always be eluded by the rational. That's just how it is. That's how reality functions. Reality will always elude the rational mind. The logical mind cannot view emotion. And with both in your human mind, you should be able to do any of the above, and if you're healthy, still be able to seek an entity to believe in. You know, because you can't just have secular, solidarity of your soul. You can't. You have to have a source that backs it. Okay, and that's a thing. You know, kind of like if you have a video game, you need a developer to build it and set it up and maintain it for you. You know, this is just how it works. You know, if life is a video game, and I think life is a lot like a video game because everything in game theory corresponds with the real world. You know, so I dare say if this is a video game, that life is kind of acting like a video game today, and video games it is. I gotta blow that thing up. Prove the strike. Get out of here. Bye-bye. Humble yourself. Just walked up to that troll and messed him up twice. That shotgun is OP. Oh, there's another one for me to take down. Hey, buddy. Boom, boom, boom. And run away. Damn on. Another one. Oh my god. The shotgun is pretty OP. Solar fire shotgun. Freaking great. Gotta go over here then? Gotcha. Be healed! Beacon him. That's immune. Don't shoot him, he's immune. Take out the rest. Public pimp. Nothing in life should ever be more painful or annoying than popping a pimple. That is the frickin' truth. And today was one of those days where you just kind of want to break stuff. And today what we were breaking is a bill that otherwise wanted to invade our privacy. Well, looks like we're winning. Three. Alright. Got everything else. down, so he's up next. A fourth? Do we have a fourth? Yep, we have a fourth. Tier 3. People love their tier 3. Just jump over that and then go to work. Oh, no special ammo, huh? I need some special ammo. Okay, well, I know how to generate it. Having an issue with them hunting me down here. Ah, good. Boom. Shoot. Got enough power. What we got? We need to get rid of that, so good.
Idea.
Let me check the chat real quick. Oh, I don't even have the chat pulled up right now, do I? I'm so used to this one. Hold on. Maybe I do over here. I do. It is a Limp Bizkit day, that is for sure. I don't think beef jerky. I just want you to be aware. At this point, I don't care if you're racist. I voted for Grant Plattner in Maine because I really think he's got a plan at this point to reset the economy. So I don't know. I don't care. He has his issues. You have your issues. I have my issues for sure. We all got issues, bro. It's America. Welcome to the prospect. We all belong in Alcatraz. They know it, and they can't put us there because we have our freedom, and we also know it. So I don't know what you want me to say. To the moon. Look at that. Oh, that's gonna take forever to get ready. Ah. Alright, what's in my quests? I don't need to worry about that. Reward pass. Let's get that real quick. Boom. Okay, so we have to go to that reverse thing. So tired. Today has been exhausting. I honestly, nearly lost my shit when I heard that my privacy was going to get invaded. And then I was like, okay, time to switch it up, because Google can't. No, Google, you don't get that kind of permission over your people. You know, that's messed up. That's tyrannical. Nope. You weren't like this when the 5-star rating system was around. I promise you that. Just saying. You had it better when you had a 5-star rating system. At least people were actively trying to be the next best thing. Nowadays, nobody wants to. I don't even want to. I used to want to. It was my biggest dream. You know, when I was a kid to now, it was my biggest dream. And I don't even want to do that anymore. And the only reason it was one of my greater dreams is because I wanted to be the most complete gamer in the world. You know, even if I wasn't famous or I wasn't well known, I was going to be happy eventually being someone's favorite, and that was what was important to me. Nowadays, I've been someone's favorite many times. I still am people's favorite at some case, but YouTube isn't mine. I can't go to Twitch and think that it's worth it. I can't come on YouTube half the time and think it's worth it. I don't get enough views on my long form, and the only place I get views is either on stream with you guys or on my shorts with everybody with basically no attention span. And I don't know about you, I don't do it for the attention, but I mean, seeing people have zero attention span, that's really messed up, because I could sit here for like an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours or so and have fun overnight, and y'all would stay with me the whole night, right? But like, I don't know, dude, today's been crazy. I'm losing track of my thoughts right now. They're all storming around in there, trying to come to a concise decision on what to do next. And the honest truth, as an Aries, if you heard half the shit I actually wish I could say to you, you wouldn't want to be my friend no more. Real truth. That's why I'm nice to people. It's not because I want to get something out of you. It's genuinely a selfless act of me being nice sometimes. When I'm not being nice, just expect you pissed me off and I need to be left alone for a little bit. That's about how it is. Okay, well, let me go Eververse, do the engram thing. Yeah, I got a hold. Good grief. Alright, so we got another shell. Not interested. Oh god, there's just nothing. Nothing to do right now because they shut down the dev team, which means basically this game is dead in the water now. Well, at least I got a lot done on it. Like I basically completed the whole game. Exception to like some of the triumphs. I could switch over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel if I wanted to, I guess. Let me check the chat, see what y'all are up to. What y'all doing? It's not on live chat, so it's dumb. No, I don't do running with rifles anymore. At this point, I figure at this point that being on running with rifles is just not my thing. It's just not. It was cool when it was cool, and then it kind of became uncool, and I don't want to be over there, and that's not the person I choose to be. So, no, I need something else. It's just not my style. It's not. And Pod Awful's not my style either, but let him do his thing. I'm sure he's having fun. I actually told my mom today. She said this Kosa thing would actually target Jesse, and I said, yeah, well, even though Jesse has done me wrong for like 10 straight years, I still wouldn't wish that on him even as my worst enemy. I would still try to save him like Batman would try to save the fucking Joker. End of discussion. I don't want him to lose his channel. People, I don't know, people, at first I wanted him to lose his channel, but nowadays I just don't care. It's his shit. It's whatever he does, it's his issue. I just don't care. But yes, I need a community. That's definitely a thing. I can't just sit here and say, no, I don't want a community, I'm antisocial, because at the end of the day, I don't have NPD, I don't have ASPD, I don't have ASD, I have ASD, I don't have ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, I'm not a sociopath, I'm not a psychopath, though I have a few traits of both because of my kind of personality. People don't often identify my personality, or for that matter, they probably don't even know what my Myers-Briggs, like, it was originally INFJ, but that's just a progression tracker. That's really all the Myers-Briggs is a progression tracker. And then, that was when I was like just starting over again. Like you guys really made me start all the fuck over again, and I busted my balls to make good content for you guys. Oh my god, it's a hardship. It is. People say being on the internet or being a streamer isn't real work. I almost dare a coder to sit here and tell me this isn't as life existential as this isn't as life-alteringly existentially mind-numbing as sitting there in front of trigonometry trying to diagnose C++. Exactly. See, it's the same shit, you just see it different. That's all it is. It's all data, it's all code. You, even as a physical being, are data and code. And that's kind of why I think, Google wants to do what they're doing, why the UK is trying to enforce COSA on America, because, you must be proper. Yes, I understand you like your propriety, but proprietarianism is constricting of freedom, and I'm an American. I believe in the independent nature of the freedom of the American citizen. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of hearing about all this, oh, tear it down and shit. I don't want to tear it down. I want to alter it a bit so that it functions optimally for everyone. That's what I want. I'm sick and tired of some people get it, other people don't. That's bullshit. We all have the same shit, even if we ugly as shit. We all got a heart. We all got a soul. We all got a brain. Let's fucking use it. So, Right now, I'm trying to storm what I'm supposed to do next in the game, as well as multitasking the constant of what I'm talking about on stream, and trying to focus on, okay, what's my next move at setting up my own ISP? Because having my own form of intranet as like a business hold for myself alone or my family alone, without it being like interacted with by an ISP, would be so banger, wouldn't it? People would definitely get behind that, because then they could do it for themselves if they knew how. And that's the fundamental thing I've always thought about, is that the ISP makers, they don't teach you how to build an ISP. They just teach you how to maintain it. And there is, in fact, a way for even the average American to set up. It's about $7,000 to do for basic equipment. But if you put $7,000 into it, you could easily drop into using your own server and intranet basis and have your own basic ISP overriding the COSA thing. If this were to happen, it's not going to. But I figure it now. But at this point, I figure it's not going to. They're not getting away with it. There are too many web browser actives that are actively telling them no. It's just not possible to have it all stop. But anyway, at this point, the best thing we can do is wait. Vote and wait. That's the whole thing. On some days, I think maybe some of the internet, like web devs, do pay attention to some of us talking. Because I know Asmongold has been talking about this, and he's a pretty reputable source of good information on some accounts. I don't agree with everything he says, but he does have a lot of good points. And so I kind of pay attention to some of the stuff he talks about. He was recently made an awareness this morning of stuff going on. I was like, oh shit. So I looked into it and I read the fine print and I'm like, holy damn. I couldn't stop talking about it for like a whole hour. This is all past stuff, right? This is all stuff I could go back and do. I haven't done this? Trust me, I don't know if I can make money on this. I don't want to crowdsource because I don't like begging people for cash, I actually, like, my sense of ethics in work is I want to make content once a day or stream for an hour a day or 3 days a week or something like that. Have a set schedule, and that's how I get a small income influx from it. That's really all I want. I don't even care to get rich. Rich people get corrupt. Like, all the rich people are all the same people who've been to Epstein's Island. I don't want to be anywhere near what they are. I don't even want to be like them. I don't want that. No. But, making money off my channel, like doing a stream or something and getting it going, that would be great, but it's going to take some serious work. These people obviously have a deep-rooted distrust that they're not going to overcome, and it's just it's oversaturating. Also, the whole, like, everything I do at this point, cooking, martial arts, video games, card games, it's all a very oversaturated market now. Back when I wanted to get started, it was very interesting because you could pick up an Elgato capture card. Hold on. This, and you could go record and make content doing that. Nowadays, you can't even really do that because this is outdated. And you now have to go direct line instead of alternative line. And this would only be good for like an Xbox or a PlayStation, So you can see why why it's really hard to be a content creator. Like this right here, when this came out, this was $260. Okay, I invested $260 into an Elgato HD60 when I first started on my original channel. This is how I did it. This is how I started. You know, that was my editing, that was my audio, that was everything, man. That was all of it right there, and I still have it to this day. People have asked me if I'll give it to them. I'm like, no way, man. That is way too much of an article to get away. That's good tech, man. You won't find a capture card that good very often. And on the outside skirts of the fact that someday we may need a capture card because the internet wants to try to control what's actually being done. Well, this breaks those rules, doesn't it? They can't say no to Elgato. You know? So that's the funny part, I think, you know? I know I'm doing the right thing by keeping at it, but I gotta tell you, it's very discouraging to come on the internet these days. Not because of you guys anymore, but mostly because the internet just ain't what it once was. But oh, seriously. There's really not much to do now that there's like no stuff going on the game. God, they're shutting it down, aren't they? Are we about to watch the last moments of Destiny 2 also in one day? God, I hope not. Well, what's this? Oh, I don't need to do that. I don't. It's fine. Who's online? No one. Alright. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for joining me on the stream, guys. Peace.